You love your cat. I know you do. You buy them the good food. You let them sleep wherever they want. You've probably rearranged your entire couch situation around their preferred napping spot. And by every reasonable measure, your cat has a good life. But I need to ask you something, and I want you to sit with it for a second before you answer. When was the last time your cat actually sought you out? Not because it was dinner time, not because you were already holding a treat, but just came to you, chose you, settled near you because they wanted to be there. If you had to think about that for more than a few seconds, this video is for you. Because here's what nobody in the pet industry wants to say out loud. Most cats in American households are living in a kind of quiet, emotional isolation that their owners accidentally created. Not through neglect, not through cruelty, through something far more common, not knowing what cats actually need from the people they live with. And the cost of that gap is a relationship that never reaches its potential. A cat that tolerates you instead of trusts you. A bond that stays surface level when it could go so much deeper. Stay with me through this entire video, because I'm going to show you 5 things backed by actual behavioral science that cats genuinely crave from their owners, and almost none of them are what you'd expect. Number 3 is going to challenge something you probably believe right now about how cats experience sound. And number 5, I'll tell you up front, is the simplest thing on this entire list. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it might be the single most powerful thing you can do for your cat starting tonight. But first, you need to understand one thing about your cat that changes everything else. Cats are not small dogs. You already know that. But the real implication of that fact goes much deeper than most people realize. Dogs co-evolved with humans over roughly 15,000 years. Their brains were literally shaped through generations of selective breeding to read human faces, respond to human emotional cues, and actively seek human approval. A dog wants to make you happy. That desire is written into their biology. Cats took a completely different path. They domesticated themselves. About 10,000 years ago, when early humans started storing grain, rodents followed, and wild cats followed the rodents. The cats that were slightly less afraid of humans got better access to food. Over thousands of generations, those less fearful cats passed that trait to their offspring, drifting gradually closer to human settlements, not because we shaped them, but because they made a choice, on their own terms, to live near us. That history lives in your cat right now. It shapes how they process touch, sound, eye contact, and space. And the single biggest mistake that well-meaning American cat owners make is trying to love their cat the way they'd love a dog. With big energy, loud enthusiasm, direct eye contact, constant physical contact, and an expectation that affection should be obvious and reciprocal. Your cat doesn't speak that language, and until someone teaches you theirs, the relationship stays stuck. So let's fix that. The first thing your cat craves from you is being touched where the love actually lives. Here's a quick test. Think about where your hand automatically goes when you pet your cat. For most people, it's the top of the head, down the back, maybe scratching near the base of the tail. You do this because it's easy, it's habit, and your cat doesn't run away, so you assume they enjoy it. But here's what research actually shows. A study published in the journal applied animal behavior science, looked at how cats responded to being touched in different areas of their body. The results were clear and consistent. Cats showed significantly more positive responses: leaning in, slow blinking, relaxed body posture, rubbing back, when touched around the face, specifically at the base of the ears, along the cheekbones, and under the chin. When touched along the back or near the base of the tail, a large percentage of cats displayed what the researchers called low-grade stress indicators, subtle things most owners completely miss: skin twitching, tail movement, a slight tensing of the shoulders. Turning to look at the hand. Here's the biology behind it. The areas around a cat's face are packed with scent glands, not just for marking territory, but for social communication. When a cat rubs their face against a person, an object, or another animal, they're releasing what are called facial pheromones. Scientists have identified a specific compound called the F3 fraction that cats produce in those glands, a chemical signal associated with comfort, safety, and the feeling of home. When you touch those zones, you're not just petting your cat. You're prompting a neurological response that tells their brain, "This is safe. This person is family. I am home." That is a completely different experience than what a back scratch produces. And once you feel the difference, once you see your cat slow blink and press into your hand because you found the right spot, you can't go back to doing it the old way. One more thing about touch that most people overlook. Speed matters as much as location. Slow, gentle strokes activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest state, and actually release oxytocin, the bonding hormone, in both of you. Fast, stimulating petting activates the sympathetic system. It registers closer to arousal than to comfort. So when in doubt, slow everything down. 2 fingers, gentle pressure, small movements. Let your cat lean into you rather than chasing them with your hand. The second thing your cat craves is for you to stop playing with them and start hunting with them. You've seen it happen. You wave the feather toy, your cat jumps once, and 30 seconds later, they're walking away looking bored. You buy a new toy. They play with the packaging. You roll a ball across the hardwood floor, and they watch it go by like it's beneath them. You've probably blamed the toy, or decided your particular cat just isn't playful. But here's what's actually happening, and once you understand it, the behavior makes complete sense. Cats are ambush predators. Every single behavioral system in their body is built around a specific hunting sequence: stalk, chase, pounce, catch, kill, consume. This isn't just how they find food in the wild, it's how their neurological reward system is structured. The full completion of that cycle produces a significant dopamine release, a deep, satisfying payoff that tells the cat's brain, "That was successful. You are capable. Everything is right." Most play sessions with owners only trigger the middle of that sequence. The cat sees movement, they get excited, they maybe pounce, and then the toy keeps moving, or you yank it away right before they get it, and the cycle breaks. No catch, no kill, no resolution. It's the neurological equivalent of getting all the way to the end of a meal and having the plate pulled away before the last bite. Your cat doesn't walk away bored. They walk away quietly frustrated. And over time, that frustration erodes their motivation to engage with the toy and eventually with you. Research on feline play behavior from the University of Edinburgh found that cats played significantly longer, showed higher engagement, and were measurably calmer in the hours after a session when the play mimicked actual prey movement, including allowing the cat to catch and hold the toy. That moment of capture is where all the payoff lives. When your cat grabs the toy and kicks it with their back legs and bites down, that's the dopamine hit. That's the thing their nervous system has been waiting for. So here's how to actually do it right. Move the toy slowly at first. Drag it low along the ground. Let it disappear under a blanket or behind the edge of the couch. Give it stillness. Let it sit there, barely moving, like something that doesn't know it's being watched. Wait for your cat to go into that low, focused crouch. Watch for the pupils to dilate and the back end to start that slow, deliberate wiggle. That's the stalk. Don't rush it. Let them stay in it, and then let them catch it fully. Don't pull it away at the last second. Let them have it. Let them hold it and kick it and bite it. Give them that resolution completely. When you play this way consistently, something shifts that surprises most owners. Their cat doesn't just play longer. They start initiating. They come to the owner when they want to play. They bring the toy. They sit near the toy and look at the owner with that specific, meaningful gaze that means something very clear. And that shift, from cat who tolerates play to cat who seeks it out with you specifically, is the difference between a cat that sees you as a food dispenser and a cat that sees you as a genuine partner. That's trust built through instinct, and it's one of the most reliable ways to deepen the bond with any cat at any age. The third thing your cat craves, and this is the one that surprises people most, is the way you talk to them. Not what you say, how you say it. Most American cat owners talk to their cats. That's not the problem. The problem is that most of us default to the same voice we use for everything else. Our normal, conversational, adult voice. The same tone we'd use talking to a friend, a coworker, our kids. And it turns out, for a cat, that voice is almost entirely unremarkable. Here's the study. Researchers at the Université Paris-Nanterre, published in the journal Animal Cognition, tested whether cats could distinguish their owner's voice from a stranger's voice. When owners spoke in their normal adult tone, cats showed almost no differentiation in their response. Ears stayed flat, head stayed still, body stayed neutral. But when owners shifted into what researchers called cat-directed speech, shorter phrases, softer volume, slightly elevated pitch, slower cadence, the cats responded in a way that was visually unmistakable. Ears rotated, pupils dilated slightly. Cats turned toward the source and held eye contact. Many moved toward their owner. Think of it as a vocal, slow blink. Soft, deliberate, unhurried. Think about your feeding routine right now. You scoop the food. You set the bowl down. Your cat eats. You walk away. It happens twice a day, every day, without much thought. And it works fine. Your cat is fed. Nobody's hungry. The routine runs smoothly. A study examining human-cat bonding behaviors found that cats who were regularly offered food by hand showed significantly higher levels of what researchers call affiliative behavior toward their owners. More voluntary time spent near them, more rubbing and scent marking directed at them, more relaxed body posture in their presence. The researchers described it as a provisioning bond, a category of attachment that, in feline social structure, is typically reserved for individuals the cat identifies not just as safe, but as family. That shift is quiet, but it is not small. It may be one of the most meaningful things you can build into your week. No food, no toy. Don't call your cat's name. Don't reach toward them when they look at you. Just find the room your cat is already in, lower yourself to the floor, and sit there. Be still. Let time pass. Let whatever happens, happen. Research on feline stress indicators and social preference, including work by animal behaviorist Dr. Sharon Crowell Davis, found that cats in multi-person households consistently chose to spend more voluntary time gay people who were physically lower and behaviorally quieter in the cat's presence, compared to people who were more actively engaging with them. The cats weren't preferring the people who fed them more or played with them more. They were preferring the people who felt safest. And safety, communicated in feline behavioral terms, looks like stillness, low posture, and the absence of demand. Not rushing, not bounding over like a dog who just heard a leash jingle. Moving the way cats move when they've decided something, with intention and certainty. They may stop a foot away from you. They may sit beside you without touching you. They may face slightly away and just be there, in your space, near your body, present with you. None of these require money. None of them require you to carve out hours of your day. What every single one of them requires is a willingness to slow down, read your cat's signals, and respond to what they're actually telling you, rather than expressing love in a human language that your cat doesn't have the hardware to receive. Most of the distance between cats and their owners isn't caused by incompatibility. It isn't caused by the cat being aloof or cold or unaffectionate by nature. It's caused by a translation failure. The owner is expressing love loudly, physically, directly, and the cat is receiving it as overstimulation, unpredictability, or low-level threat. The love is real. The intention is completely genuine, but the signal never lands. What these 5 practices do is teach you a different language, slower, quieter, more patient, more attentive to response. A language that says to your cat, not in words, but in behavior and biology, I see you. I understand what you need. You are safe with me. You don't have to perform anything to stay in my good graces. And when cats receive that message consistently, when they begin to experience you as a safe, readable, trustworthy presence who actually pays attention to their cues, the relationship transforms. Not overnight, but steadily, in a direction that most cat owners never reach. Not because they didn't love their cat enough, but because nobody ever showed them how to make that love legible to a different species. There's a study from the University of Lincoln that I want to leave you with, because I think it answers a question that a lot of American cat owners carry quietly without ever saying it out loud. Does my cat actually care about me, or am I just a person-shaped food dispenser? The researchers were testing whether cats form genuine attachment bonds with their owners, the kind of deep, secure attachment that developmental psychologists document in human infants with their caregivers. The popular assumption going into the study was that cats probably don't, that they're too independent, too self-contained, too opportunistic in their social behavior to form that kind of bond. The data said otherwise. Cats showed clear signs of secure attachment to their primary caregivers. When brought into an unfamiliar environment with their owner, they used the owner as a secure base, exploring more confidently when the owner was present, showing elevated stress when the owner left, settling more quickly when the owner returned. The pattern matched what attachment researchers see in securely bonded human children. The bond was real, it was measurable, and it was deep. The factor that most strongly predicted whether a cat showed secure versus anxious attachment was not breed, not how long the cat and owner had lived together, not the cat's early history. It was the quality and accuracy, GDK's responsiveness to the cat's behavioral signals. The cats who were most securely bonded were the cats whose owners had learned to listen. That's what all 5 of these practices come down to. They are 5 different ways of learning to listen to your cat. Of learning to read the lean and the slow blink and the deliberate approach across the living room floor. Of understanding that your cat sitting 6 inches from your knee without touching you is not withholding. It is an offering. It is them saying, in the only language they have, I trust you enough to be here. So here's what I want you to do tonight. Don't try to do all 5 at once. Just pick one. If you want the fastest result, the one most likely to produce a visible response within the same evening, choose number 5. When your cat is in the room with you tonight, don't call them, don't reach for them. Just sit down on the floor nearby and do nothing. Stay there for 10 minutes. See what your cat decides to do when they realize you're not asking anything of them. You may be surprised. If you want the deepest, long-term shift in how your cat experiences your touch, start with number 1. Spend the next week petting your cat only around the face, base of the ears, cheeks, under the chin, slowly, with 2 fingers, watching for the lean. Pay attention to when they press into your hand versus when they hold still. Let that feedback guide you. Inside of a week, you will know your cat's body better than you've ever known it before, and your cat will begin to feel that knowledge as safety. And if you're working with a cat who has always kept their distance, a rescue with an unclear history, a cat who was poorly socialized, a cat who flinches when you reach toward them, start with number 4. 1 small piece of food from an open hand, once a week. No pressure, no expectation. Let them come to you. Let it take as long as it takes. Because what you are doing is not training. You are not teaching your cat a trick. You are rewriting what your hands mean to them. You are rewriting what you mean to them. And that kind of rewriting doesn't happen on your timeline. It happens on theirs. Be patient with that. Honor it. Because the cat who eventually walks toward your open hand after weeks of hesitation, who finally lowers their head and eats from your palm, is not just taking a treat. They are making a decision that, for them, carries real weight. They are deciding that you are worth the risk of being fully known. Give them a reason to make that decision, and they will give you a kind of trust that, once you've experienced it, you'll realize you are missing all along. If this video gave you something real, a new way to see your cat, a new way to understand what they need from you, hit the like button right now. It takes 2 seconds, and it directly helps us reach other cat owners who are sitting with the same questions you had when you clicked play. Subscribe if you want more content like this, where we go deep on animal behavior, the real science behind the human-animal bond, and what your cat is actually trying to tell you every single day. I'll see you in the next one.